Hey friends, and welcome back to the Rice Family YouTube channel. We're excited you're here. If you are new, my name is Marissa. I'm a wife and a mom to a large family. And at the time of this trip, we are a family of 9, traveling from Southeast Idaho all the way down to Phoenix, Arizona. This trip is a family road trip, but we've been really intentional to make the journey just as meaningful as the destination. And today is day 2, where we are spending the entire day in Kanab, Utah. Kanab is such a unique place. It is surrounded by some of the most beautiful red rock landscape in the country. And what I love about it is that it gives you access to incredible hiking and scenery without always having the same crowds you'll find at the big national parks. And for our family, that is something we truly value. We love the beauty of places like Zion and Bryce, but there's really something special about finding places that feel a little quieter, a little slower, and allow your family to explore a little more freely. Our first stop is the Grand Staircase-Escalante. We started our morning with what I would say is a must-do experience when you're in this area. We headed out to explore part of the Grand Staircase National Monument. This area is absolutely massive. It covers nearly 1 million acres of protected land filled with canyons, cliffs, slot canyons, rock formations, and layers of earth that quite literally tell a story of time. The name Grand Staircase actually comes from the way of the land rises in steps like a giant staircase from the Grand Canyon up through southern Utah. What makes this area so unique is that it feels much more raw and untouched compared to many of the national parks. There are fewer crowds, less infrastructure, and more opportunity to explore nature in a very real, hands-on way. For families, this means more space for kids to move, more freedom to explore, and a slower, more intentional pace. So what does our hiking experience look like here? The hike we chose was not overly structured. It was more of an explore and discover type of hike, which worked really well for our family. There were rock formations to climb, sandy paths to walk, open spaces to roam, and a lot of hoodoos to see. And it gave the kids a chance to really engage with the environment instead of staying on the strict trail, which we are very good at and encourage our kids to do while hiking. So if you are planning to hike in this area, there are a few things I would really recommend bringing, especially with kids. Water, right? More than you think you'll need. Snacks or simple fuel for energy is always a win. Good shoes with grip and sun protection like hats, sunscreen, etc. And a baby carrier if you have littles. We encourage our littles to walk but end up on dad's shoulders a lot. There is very little shade in many parts of this area, so be prepared to make different decisions based on when you go. One of the things I love about places like this is how naturally it opens up conversations with our children. You can talk about it, like the layers of rock or how the land was formed, the vastness of creation, and it really just gives an opportunity to point back to the Creator. These places are a reminder of God's power, His creativity, and His order in the world. The hike back out was just as beautiful as the hike in, and it gave a different perspective. There's so much beauty to be seen all around. So on this hike, we have 2 littles. We have our toddler who is riding on dad's back right now, and we have our baby who I am carrying on the pack. And one of the things that we are having to navigate on our vacation this trip is feeding the baby, and finding hikes and adventures that either we can bring the food along to feed baby, or allowing the hike to be short enough that we can make it back before the next feeding time. You'll see in this next picture, we loaded everybody up with some snacks, not just the baby, but everyone got a fruit and a bar, and we're using our little heated pot to warm up a bottle for the baby. This is our travel on the go water heater system, and it works all right. There was a little bit of a learning curve so that we didn't overheat the water going into the formula. But next, we are hitting the road and heading to our second stop. After spending the morning exploring, we headed to another hike that is truly one of the most unique areas that we saw, and this is called the Nautilus. This hike is very different from the first hike. So what is the Nautilus? The Nautilus is a short slot canyon hike that leads to a stunning rock formation that looks like a spiral shell, almost kind of like one that you'd find at the beach when you're inside of the Nautilus. The rock walls curve in a beautiful, most artistic way, and it's one of those places that feel completely unexpected. So just wait till you see what it looks like. The hike itself is short and relatively easy, very, very family friendly, but there are a few things to keep in mind. You'll be walking through sand, narrow canyon walls when you get there, uneven ground in places. This is the beautiful Nautilus here that you are witnessing. And this is one of those hikes that felt really special because it's not overly crowded, again, which is a win, and it's visually stunning. It's also short enough for kids to really enjoy, and the kids loved exploring the canyon, and once we reached the formation, it was a great place to stop and look around and take it all in. One thing that is really important with slot canyon hikes like this is to be aware of weather conditions. Flash floods can be a real risk in these types of areas, even if it's not raining where you are. So it's always wise to check the weather before heading out. All right, well, we're going to head back for lunch at the Airbnb after the hikes. This was a sweet part of the day. We had brought Polish dogs made from the hogs that we raised on our very own farm, which is always really special for our family. There's something meaningful about preparing and eating food that you've raised and stewarded yourself. It connects your children to the process in a completely different way. And lunch was simple, filling, and exactly what we needed after a morning of hiking. After lunch, we had some downtime. The littles took naps, and this is something we learned that is very important when traveling with a large family. Then we gathered up and took a walk around the neighborhood, and the older kids took advantage of the bikes at our Airbnb. These simple moments of walking, riding bikes, letting kids just be kids are often the ones that stand out the most.
Okay, so we finished up day 2 in Kanab, and we are headed to Chandler, Arizona tomorrow, but we're going to have 2 stops on the way. We're going to stop by Horseshoe Bend and the Meteor Crater. Tongue twister. And we're just getting ready for bed here. We're going to wake up early, maybe like 5 a.m. because my husband's amazing, and that's what time he feels like we can get on the road. So we have it all packed up on the van tonight. We've done all of our cleaning and things to check out tomorrow, but I wanted to show you one of our meals for on the road for breakfast. I feel like breakfast can be kind of tricky because like I think of warm things for breakfast, but we made bagels with cream cheese and bacon. And so we'll put that in our little white cooler over here, and that fits just in the car, and it will keep things cold all day. The second thing for lunch, we have paper plates and forks, and then I've just made 2 bags of pasta salad, and I have a dressing in there already that I've made, and that is similar to like an Italian club sandwich, but in pasta form. So we'll have that at our break at the Meteor Crater tomorrow. So there's a little update.